when you talk about one of the funniest guys in the business, you have to think of Frank Santorelli. Frank is a Boston comic, well known across the country, but he has been seen on Spin City, Law and Order, the movie Meet the Parents. Obviously, you've seen him on The Sopranos as Georgie the Bouncer. Please welcome to the late night program a good friend, a funny man, Mr. Frank Santorelli. Hello, Frank.
Please keep your seats. Please keep your seats. Do not rush me as I'm leaving.
Nice to see you,
Thanks,
Frank.
man.
How are
Good
you?
to see you.
Nice to
I'm
see
great,
you.
man.
You're great.
Even though the world's ending, I'm great.
You're like the Titanic. You're the band on the Titanic.
I'm the band on the time. Absolutely. I'm the violinist. I'm the cellist.
Frank, now myself, I grew up just south of Boston. I just remember seeing your name, up in lights at the clubs in Boston, and the lights in Boston. Sure. Where are you from originally?
Cleveland, Ohio.
You're from Cleveland, Ohio. And how did you end up in the Boston scene?
It's an incredible story. I started at the Cleveland Comedy Club. Drew Carey just left to go to L.A. He was a big deal in Cleveland.
Sure.
Went down to the Cleveland Comedy Club, started working there. A guy named Phil Van T, who was almost like a emo Phillips type.
Sure.
Letterman was interested in him. He was from Cleveland. He moved here. He says, "You got to come to Boston." This is 1985. And so I did. I came here, and we were living in Joe Yanetti's mother's place in Eastie. I swear to God.
Sure.
Joe Yanetti's mother owns an apartment out there. He was living there. I stayed with him for 10 days. The very first night, he says, "Let's go to the Charles Playhouse. My friend Tony V runs a show there." And I said, "Okay." He goes, "You won't be able to get up. There's too many comedians hanging around that all want to go on. And nobody that books shows will be there. We'll just go there and hang, and I'll just introduce you to me." I had no designs on living here yet. And so anyway, I walk in the door with Phil, and Phil goes, "This is my friend Frank." Place is packed. Monday night.
Sure.
There's 145 people in the room. Packed. You couldn't breathe. It was so hot. And he goes, "This is my friend Frank. He's a comedian from Cleveland." And Tony goes, "You're a comic?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "You're next." I swear to God. I go, "Excuse me?" He goes, "You're next." I go, "You're kidding me." He goes, No. The guy who was supposed to come, I'm going to bring you up in like 3 minutes. What do you want me to say about you? I go, "I'm from Cleveland." He goes, "Okay." I go up. You know who's in the room? Everybody. I'm not kidding. It was exactly the opposite of what he said. All the guys that booked were at the bar. Mike Clark, Paul Barkley, and Billy Downs from the Charles Playhouse. Everybody. 100 comedians. Barry Crimmins. You name it. Gavin, Sweeney. Everybody's there. I go up, and I'm sensational. I'm not kidding. I blew the place apart.
Sure.
It was incredible. And everybody saw me. Everybody who was anybody saw me. And I was singing. I was singing with sunglasses on. And they hated me.
Sure
I swear to God. They hated me. I had sunglasses on going, "I know you." I used to do this thing with sunglasses and a Hawaiian shirt.
Of course.
And I killed. And the next thing you know, I had gigs coming out of my ears. And back then, I'm sure you heard, we worked every night.
Sure.
Every night. 50, 25, 100, 200, 50, 75, 25, like that, every night.
Sure.
Me and Al Ducharme used to go, "How many days in a row did you work?" And I'd go, 36. He'd go, 55.
Sure.
I'm not kidding, man. Every night there was a gig somewhere.
Yep.
The Blackburn Tavern in Newburyport, Providence, Rhode Island, Connecticut, you name it. There was gigs every night, everywhere. Yeah. And
So,
so I was off to the races.
sure. So you're crushing the comedy scene, and then like most performers, did you hear about the actor who wants to direct, or the comedian who wants to, produce? You obviously transitioned into the television world. What was your first?
Well, I was an actor before I was a comedian.
So you did it the other way.
Absolutely. I was in theater in high school in summer stock. I was living in New York. I did some theater there, nothing big, but I was always in the acting, and I wanted to be the next Robert De Niro. That was my gig. I was going to be the next Robert De Niro. And so, yeah. Anyway, I started working in Boston as a comedian, and then we would hear about auditions in New York.
Sure.
Kevin Knox and me, a hockey commercial in New York, and six of us would get in a car and drive down there, black out our teeth, wear jerseys, and go down there and audition. And then I started doing stand-up there. So people saw me there, and I got an agent and a manager.
Yep.
And that's how you get auditions. You got to have an agent and a manager. Well, not really a manager. It's kind of one thing now. It used to be two different things. Now it's all one thing.
Sure, they've kind of blended. That was a few years ago, that transition. What was the first TV show that you did? Was it Law and Order? Was it Spin City? What was
the first TV show I did was it was a Law and Order. Yeah, around 93 with Jerry Orbach. That was the first real television show. Yeah.
Sure.
Jerry Orbach and the other guy, Jesse L. Martin, the black dude. And then I did Law and Order Criminal Intent twice. Once I was a bad guy, once I was a good guy. Yeah.
What do you prefer?
So, hey, listen, spell my name right. I don't care. It doesn't matter.
I'm just here for the craft food services.
Crafty.
Right?
You
Frank,
can put on 20 pounds eating crafty.
Sure. It's great to see you. We actually we got to work together this summer. Right for the even though it was the pandemic with the COVID, but it's nice to see to sit back and watch someone like you, a veteran, just basically, you're always respectful to the other comics, the young comics, and you still have the passion when you were on stage, and just people were just enjoying themselves, and it was nice to sit back and watch you still work.
That was a great night. That was a really good Ralphie Joyelle.
Yeah, Ralphie Joyelle, another comedian.
Night. That was a really good crowd.
Everything was great that night. It was nice to get out and do that.
Absolutely.
I shared that you were going to be on the program, and of course, the messaging I was getting from people, hey, was that Georgie from The Sopranos? I'm like, that's Georgie from The Sopranos. So, what a great run. Was it a dozen, or how many episodes did you do of The Sopranos?
A dozen, exactly a dozen.
That's awesome, and obviously a life-changing experience for you to be on The Sopranos.
Really was.
There was no hotter program. That was must-see TV.
Absolutely. I went on there and I just auditioned. Anybody who says that they knew what it was is lying, because I went in there. They called it The Sopranos. Everybody was like, "That's a stupid name, Sopranos." I mean, the Beatles is a stupid name when you think about it.
Sure.
But either way, I auditioned, and my audition was my very first scene. Hello, hello, hello. It's a menu. Hello, hello, like that. I do the audition, and everyone's sitting looking at me. Georgiana Walken, Christopher Walken's wife, is the casting director. Gandolfini, David Chase. I didn't know these people at the time. I knew Gandolfini from Crimson Tide.
Sure. Do you know why? Do you know, not only because you're a brilliant actor, do you know why you landed the role?
I don't. You gonna tell me?
Because you weren't in awe of those people. You just went and worked your craft.
I did. I went in and I did the thing, and you know what I said to them? And they cracked up. I used to being a comedian, and I tell actors all the time, if you can make those people laugh, you're in. And so they were all sitting there, and I went, hello, hello, what's the menu? And they all looked at me, and I said, if I get this part, I'm going to need more lines than this.
My old manager in
And
LA
the
told
only
me.
one that laughed was Georgiana Walker. She roared and saved me because the other people went.
And she called up Christopher. She called up her husband, and he said, you know, I like Frank. I like him a lot. I do, you know.
That's pretty good.
It's okay. It is that mentality, Frank, when you walk into an audition. When I lived in LA, a manager told me, she says, just go do you. The actor who's too busy, that doesn't reek of desperation, that just goes in and just owns the room and does their part and walks out, typically will nail the role. And that clearly is what happened with you in The Sopranos.
Absolutely. Oh, and then I was only a day player. One day. They were going to shoot the scene, and I was done. It was so weird. I'm in the makeup room. David Chase comes into the makeup trailer and says, put tattoos on this guy.
Nice.
And the girl goes, what do you mean? He goes, just go nuts down his arms. So she gets all these stencils, and she's going by the seat of her pants. And she does each side. It takes like 3 hours. I shoot the scene in the Bada Bing where I hang up on his mother.
Sure.
And people, and then he beats me up at the phone.
Sure.
That was it. I leave. I go to the trailer. I take my clothes off. I go to the makeup place. They're going to take my makeup off. David Chase comes into the trailer and goes, take pictures of those tattoos. So the girl who's doing the makeup goes, this is huge. I go, what do you mean? She goes, it means you may be coming back.
Nice.
So sure enough, 12 episodes later, and about 10 of those, I got the crap kicked out of me.
Hey.
Phone, bucket of ice, cash register drawer.
Sure.
One of those singing fish. Billy Bass.
The Billy Bass. Frank, how do people find out about you, your information, so they can book you for your show? Because you basically...
Facebook. Go to my Facebook page.
Facebook.
My email's on there. My phone number's on there. My dress size. My waist.
I know that we want you to come back. Maybe you come and you can sit and be like
absolutely.
And really, I know you have so many stories. I texted.
Oh my gosh, I could be on there for 2 hours with you.
I texted a friend of ours. His name is Harry Conforti. Do you remember Harry?
Oh my God, yes.
Harry
Stitches.
From Stitches Comedy Club, and he said, "Oh my gosh!" He goes, "Say hi to Frank. Such a great, funny man. Tell him I said hello." So,
wow, what a great guy. Yeah, he was a nice man. He really was. He owned Stitches.
Yep. And
you know we nicknamed it?
No.
Saint Itches.
I don't know. Frank.
I don't know who came up with that, but it's genius.
I'm sure somebody.
Saint Itches.
Yeah. Comedy is painful. Frank, we appreciate you. We love you, Frank Santorelli. Okay. And we're going to do this again, okay?
Absolutely. I'll come in. We'll do an hour. Because I got stories, absolutely.
He's got stories. It's Frank Santorelli here on the Late Night program from the Bada Bing, from The Sopranos. More Late Night New England coming up.